Hello and welcome to Talking Wanderers, where we take a weekly look at all things going on at the Reebok Stadium. I'm here today with our Wanderers writers Liam Cronall and Neil Bonner. It was not the result we wanted yesterday, but a good performance.
Yeah, plenty of positives to take from it. Obviously getting beat, you're never going to be happy with that, but Bolton never gave up, and you've got to remember, I think it puts it all into perspective when you think Aguero at 38 million cost more than the entire Bolton team put together. But certainly plenty of positives, and on the back of the opening day victory at QPR, I think plenty to look forward to.
Yeah, there were lots of positives yesterday. We just can't forget that they're up against a side there with David Silva, Yaya Toure, Gareth Barry, Aguero, and then Dzeko. These players were outstanding players on top of the game as well, and it was such a tough task for any team there. And I thought Bolton definitely held their end up really well yesterday.
Credit to Bolton really that they were always in it. While at times they seem like they may get overrun, they were always in it. Klasnic pulled one back and then Davis again. And the only slight disappointment would have been the manner of the goals they conceded. An error from Jääskeläinen, which wasn't great, and then Dzeko really sort of out-muscled Knight. And I think that were the players were in the end a little disappointed just because the goals they conceded were so soft.
It tickled me a little bit yesterday the way that the managers saw the Bolton goals as polar opposites. You got Owen Coyle said there were two terrific goals that Bolton scored with fantastic finishes, and then Mancini said that they were absolutely disastrous goals to give away, and City should have been a mile clear by that time. But yeah, definitely Bolton deserved to get the goals they did and deserved to stay in the game right until the end, purely for the never say die spirit. For all City's money, you can't buy spirit, and that's something Bolton have got in abundance.
Yeah, good crowd, and it sounded a good atmosphere as well.
Yeah, early on it was a real rousing atmosphere, as good as I've heard at the Reebok for a few years now. And that's the one thing with Owen Coyle. He refuses to, go back on his attacking instincts. They line up 4-4-2 and they go toe-to-toe with City. Now, there's not many managers in the Premier League, even at home, would do that against a squad that cost nearly £300 million. It's real credit to him, and they did that a go, and the crowd bought into that, and they love it's much better to go back to the days of Gary Megson, where if they did take the lead, they'd sit back and stuff. This is just end-to-end stuff. It was a great game, and like you say, a great atmosphere.
Well, you'll always get that at Bolton if you play the right football. You'll get a fantastic atmosphere every time. Now, with Owen Coyle, you're going to get that a lot because he'll go toe-to-toe with anybody. No matter who you are, no matter if you come with world-class players who maybe are sweeping through you at times, as long as Bolton will go back at the opponent, stand toe-to-toe and attack, the fans will get behind him. I mean, I've got a bugbear about bands. I don't like bands at football grounds. I think it's an artificial atmosphere. And yesterday showed that the fans were behind him, regardless of any drums and trumpets, whatever. The fans got right behind him because the players sparked that atmosphere. And the fans responded accordingly. And even though Bolton were 2 goals down on 2 different occasions, the fans never flinched. They were behind him all the time. Yeah. Real positive spirit.
Good. And the new boys, how did they get
on? Mixed, really. I mean, let's be honest, they did struggle in midfield, Bolton at times. I thought Reo-Coker looked tidy enough. He puts himself about. Eagles, for me, never really got involved. And City, for all the money, there are weak links, notably in defence, and particularly Kolarov on the left. And I think Eagles could have had a really good go at him, but he never did, and I was a little disappointed from that point of view, I must say.
I was more impressed when Mark Davis came on. I thought the 4 in midfield when Mark Davis was on looked a lot more solid, a lot more compact. Davis himself, I thought, individually played well. Yeah, Chris Eagles, he did the sort of unseen things. He kept the shape very well. He was sort of closing down and keeping the shape very well. He didn't show up as well as we've been led to believe he's going to, but you could see that there was ability and balance there, and I'm sure we'll get more out of him. Reo-Coker was very, very tidy. Yeah, he was.
Good, and hopefully there'll be another new boy later this week, Sean Wright-Phillips. He should fit into that team well.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the tunnel after the game waiting for the interviews and stuff, and Zach Knight and Sean Wright-Phillips were locked in conversation for a good 20-25 minutes, and speaking to Zach Knight afterwards, he said, he admitted Sean, Wright Phillips had been impressed by that performance, but to be honest, he will have learnt nothing new. That's how Bolton play. He's seen them before. As far as you understand now, a deal's been agreed, and it's just whether Wright Phillips is going to be happy to take the wage cut that he needs to come. From everything we're hearing, he is. So hopefully that deal should get done this week.
I think the fans should certainly want Sean Wright Phillips to come, because the type of football that Bolton will be playing then would be, possibly even more attacking than it was yesterday. Because Martin Petrov did well yesterday, set up both goals, was always on his heels looking to get around the back of City. If you've got Wright Phillips hugging the right line and the centres getting forward like they did yesterday, then the fans are in for a treat, definitely.
Yeah, and Neil, I was chatting to you before we came on, and you were saying about the transfer window. You're not a fan, are you?
I'm a little bit mixed about the transfer window. I always like transfers. For me, I'd have the transfer window open 12 months of the year, because I think that's what the fans love to talk about. Go in the pubs to talk about who they're going to sign, who they're going to sell. That's really what the conversation is stuck to. I'd have it open all the time. That's my main thing. The transfer window is a little bit of an artificial kind of thing, where people start playing games to try and get the price down by leaving it to the last minute, and then they miss out. And there's been very, very little activity during this transfer window. There's been Cesc Fabregas, Aguero. You look at the activity abroad in the other major leagues, it's far, far more than there has been here, and obviously not a lot of money about. But I just think that the presence of a transfer window stifles the amount of activity that is done. Which I don't like. I like to see more and more transfers, really.
Yeah, and finally, before we go, Liam, Macclesfield on Wednesday night and Liverpool Saturday night. Different test, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Carling Cup game will be a chance for fans to see the sort of next generation. Adam Blakeman was included on the bench on Sunday. He'll start. Joe Riley, I think, will start. Mark Connolly will play. Obadiah will be there or thereabouts. So I think it'll be a vastly changed team. Again, come Saturday, Liverpool, that'll be a totally different test. And but there's no reason Bolton won't go to Anfield in high spirits after the QPR game and the performance against City. And if they play like that, there's no reason why they shouldn't take something from the game.
I'm a little bit concerned about if Bolton do play the kids. I mean, I don't know if they will. I don't know how Owen Cole's going to do it. But if Liam's right and they do, I would not like to be reading stories the following day about shocks and upsets, because I like teams to do well in the cup. I don't like them to take them easy. I don't like them to be complacent. I don't like to look back and say, we played too many kids and we got undone in that game, because the cups are every inch as they can provide an awful some great memories in a season. So I just want to see Bolton get through this round.
Definitely. I think that covers it all. Join us next week for another instalment of Talking Wanderers. In the meantime, get down to the Reebok and cheer on the lads on Wednesday night, and hopefully they do the business at Anfield.